Good afternoon, and thanks for joining me on another episode of The Engine Room, where today I'm delighted to be joined by Dom, who is Head of Sales and Marketing at Silver Fox. Welcome along, Dom.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
So, thanks for coming. Nice, bright sunny day here in Canterbury, and I'm sure hopefully similar for you in London.
It is, well, I've got the blinds closed, but yes, it's a sunny day. It's so sunny that I have the blinds closed because otherwise it just sort of glares straight onto the screen. So,
We are coming towards the end of June, so it'd be nice to get some sun. So, yeah.
yeah, we've certainly been blessed with the rain.
For the kind of these episodes, what we try and do is just kind of understand a little bit more about yourself, your journey, what's going well, what's not so well, successes, just to share with other marketers, really. So, I guess if I can kick off and just say, tell us a little bit about yourself and Silver Fox and what you get up to.
Yeah, so Silver Fox is actually it's a 45-year-old business. So this is our 45th year. We started in 1979. It was actually my dad that started the business all those years ago. He's still in the business along with my brother and my mum. But there are other people that work here as well, but we're very much a family business. We are a very proud British manufacturer. We manufacture cable and equipment labels, which is very, 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 very niche part of any sort of major infrastructure project. So any sort of infrastructure project, whether that be HS2, a new football stadium, a mining project, power station, there are thousands of cables and wires that sort of run through that project, and all of those cables and wires normally need to be identified with some sort of tag, so a wraparound or a tie on or something, so that the engineer who's installing or doing the maintenance at a later date knows where this cable's coming from and where it's going to. And we manufacture all of those labels here in house and sell them all over the world. So UK, but as far as Australia, the Far East, US, Hawaii, Africa. Just recently started a project down there as well. So very, very niche. As far as my role within the company, I'm head of sales and marketing. So basically, any of the commercial aspects, the customer facing side of things, would come across my desk. And I've got a brilliant team here at Silver Fox who are much more knowledgeable about aspects of marketing than I am. I'm just the lucky one that gets to talk about it. Yeah, as far as my journey is, I don't have an engineering background. I have a sales and marketing background. I used to work in software sales for a startup, and then before that worked for Canon, the camera company.
Yeah.
So my knowledge is around sales and marketing, but how that sort of pitches into the engineering space is what the great team here helped me do.
So, how did you end up back in the family business? Was that always the plan? You went off and got some knowledge, or it was one you
Yeah,
didn't want to and kind of fell back into?
it was always the plan. My brother is an engineer. He works here as well, and we sort of joined around similar times. So, and we'd always planned on going into the family business. He, as I say, is an engineer. He left. He went to university, studied electronic and electrical engineering, and then my dad was always very keen of, if you're going to come into business, you're not coming straight from school, you're not coming straight from university. There's no point you coming in without any
Yeah.
knowledge of anything else. So we both went out and went our separate ways, and started learning a bit more about our particular trades. So mine, sales and marketing, and him on the engineering side. And then in the pandemic, obviously a bit of uncertainty around the world, and it was sort of a joint decision with him and I of, right, sort of now or never, let's get involved.
Yeah.
And we joined the business then and haven't really looked back since. It's been challenging at first. Obviously, you're working with your whole family. My sister was here for a bit as well on a little internship, so you weren't really here with everyone.
Yeah.
But aside from some squabbles at dinner in the pandemic, it's been clean sailing. So yeah, always the dream.
Perfect. So, in terms of that, you said you've got other people that are there doing some marketing bits. So, kind of, what does that look like for you guys internally?
Yeah, so we have for an SME we have quite a large team in marketing. I speak to many other SMEs, and they you speak to them and they say, "Oh, what's your marketing capability?" They go, "Oh, well, I'm it as the managing director or the founder, whoever it is," or they would outsource that to an agency, which we have done in the past, but we now have quite a large capacity for marketing in-house, and it's really been a drive for us to try and claw back as many external processes as possible, simply because we just have that capability in-house. We have 3.5 plus 4 people working in marketing, plus
Yeah.
myself. Each one sort of taking on a different aspect, whether that be the physical, the digital, all working with our distributors and our partners, and then they sort of collaborate within themselves as well.
How many staff you got in total then?
God, that's a good question actually. I think we're at 22 now
So
here in
over
the UK.
10% of that team is in
Yeah,
marketing, which is yeah, pretty impressive, as you say. Like the majority of small to medium-sized businesses have zero or one.
yeah,
So yeah, it's a great
exactly.
investment. So how? I mean, ultimately, family business, you can make decisions, but fundamentally, your dad and the rest of the family must see value in that. Then, like, or did you have to help them see that value? Is that something that you've brought to the table, or were they already kind of accepting that marketing is a required function of the business?
It's a good question actually. You would typically expect that like an old hat, like my mum and dad have been in the business. Their sons coming in and saying, "Oh, this is the way we want to drive the business forward." You would typically expect to see them being quite resistant to that change. But to be fair to them, they were the ones that were leading it. They do see a great value in marketing. They stay on trend with marketing tools and things like that. But I mean, the future of the business relies in marketing and getting the voice out there.
Yeah,
Typically, we have relied a lot on word of mouth. Obviously, we've been around for 45 years, so a lot of the customers are heritage customers who come back for more and more because we provide such a good quality of product and service. But to appeal to the masses, you need to be shouting from loads of different hilltops and lots of different messages at the same time. And
yeah,
the only way you can do that is through mass marketing. You can't just
yeah.
get
I
someone
mean,
knocking on the door.
no, totally. I mean, we talk about this all the time to different people, but that's the difference between sort of brand awareness and demand generation to lead generation, right? If you're not creating a demand, if you're not talking about your products and services, if you're not kind of getting that message to the wider audience, then you're not going to generate leads because they don't know who you are and what you have to offer.
Exactly. Yeah.
And marketing needs to be an always-on engine. I think that's where a lot of people go wrong. They kind of go to a trade stand and spend 100 grand and think they're doing great marketing, but they've got another 355 days of the year where they do nothing. And it's kind of like take half that budget, have a half the size stand, and do some marketing the rest of the year, like a third of it, whatever, or do both. If you're going to
Yeah.
invest, do it properly. But yeah, it's
The
tricky.
trade stands are an interesting one because, I mean, you'll know this being for an agency, and I've seen you guys go to some exhibitions. So many engineering manufacturing firms believe that marketing is, oh, we go to this exhibition every year, and then
Yeah,
they go to that exhibition, they spend £20,000 at the exhibition, and they sit behind a desk with their laptops open
yeah,
doing work that they would have done in the office, but this time they get to pay the luxury of £20,000 to be there,
yeah,
which is an absurd way of managing a business. We we're quite unique where every exhibition we go to, we decline the chairs. We don't want the chairs at the stand because if we sit down, it's game over from the start.
yeah.
I've been going to exhibitions with my dad since I was about 8 years old, so he's a real hustler in the hallways. But there's a real plague in manufacturing and engineering at the moment. Well, forever really. Of this is how we do marketing. It's a one-page flyer, and we go to an exhibition, and they sit on the stand, and anyone who walks past the stand, unless they literally come up to our face and say we would like your product, then we're not going to talk to them.
Yeah.
And it's sort of that closed-off approach, which is really a challenge.
Definitely. I mean, it's deemed to be a legacy industry for those reasons, and digitization's been quite big over the last few years. Certainly, we're having conversations with customers that we previously spoke to, and they weren't ready. Now they're kind of going, "Oh, actually, that stuff you were talking about 3 years ago, we kind of probably do need to get a move on that. Bringing in CRMs, bringing in social media, organic social media. They're like, oh no, we don't need that. I'm like, you do now. In a very competitive world, it's tough right now. Like a lot of people are seeing the pains. Machine tools in particular are
Mm,
big capital assets, and people aren't dropping £250,000 willy nilly on these machines. They're like making, how can they get the most out of the machines they've got? How can they extend the lifetime? Can they run a second shift? Whatever that looks like, they're being cleverer with what they've got. And that means you've got to drive and talk to those pain points even more as a marketer, like really understanding what something can or can't do to help improve the bottom line of your business. And
yeah.
so on that, I guess, marketing's clearly, a positive thing for you guys at Silver Fox. What do you think you would say has been your major marketing success or successes?
What I saw this question on the list of questions you sent across, and I sat down with the team and I was trying to work out what what have been our successes. And there's loads of stuff, like we do everything. I think the main thing for us is we do everything ourselves. So hosting the website ourselves, developing the website ourselves, we're building a new US website ourselves in-house. That that capacity that we have to do it internally, because of the size of the marketing team we have here in comparison to most other SMEs. I mean, we've seen loads of success with agencies in the past, loads of success, but we just found ourselves in a situation where we had too many people in marketing to not have those resources internally.
Yeah.
The biggest accomplishment that we've seen is just how much brand awareness we have internationally now. I mean, we're getting inquiries from all over the world, from Australia, from Singapore, from Malaysia, from Africa, and that is entirely down to the success of the marketing team. And not only are we getting inquiries, but they're actually qualified inquiries, qualified leads coming through, where the customer has seen our marketing collateral, whether that be on Facebook or Google, or now we're starting on Twitter as well. And they've qualified it themselves of coming to us saying, I've seen this online, I want this, this, and this, and I know that I need this to have this, and so on. So that is entirely down to the marketing team being as descriptive and informative as possible, so that end user is coming to us with actual value, as opposed to, oh, I need some labels. What should I do?
Totally. And that goes to the point, that in B2B sales, they reckon that, 76% is the kind of typical qualification now of someone that has done their research, read the reviews, looked at your website, looked at your marketing collateral, watched some videos, compared you to some competitors. So when they're actually having that conversation, they're already at that 3/4 of the way down the funnel. And now it's just like, can somebody, make them happy enough to kind of tick that last bit of trust building? Like, we're going to speak to the company now, and as long as they meet all the expectations I've set in my mind of from having read their collateral, having watched them online, heard them on podcasts, if they now tick those boxes on that, cool, we're going to do business. And that's marketing, right? That is the point. Because you can't just expect somebody to, come across you and then go, here's £100,000 order, where do I sign? You've got to do some work.
Yeah, it's not like B2C. I mean, I spend hours watching like tech reviews on YouTube for a product that I'm probably not even going to buy. Because I just really enjoy it. But in a B2B space, no one's watching a tech review or a review of all the collateral of our Fox and Box thermal printer, only to go, oh, that was interesting. I'm going to live my life now.
That was my lunch break over. Yeah,
exactly. So they come down that funnel, and as long as you're adding value at each level of that funnel, then you're probably going to close the deal.
Yeah.
As opposed to like a B2C approach where you can spend 3 weeks researching some earphones, so I need to go, my current ones are okay because I don't need to spend that money. So on the B2B side of things, especially engineering, is always driven by that requirement. And then as long as you can pepper them with some value throughout the process, then you're normally going to see success.
Yeah, no, definitely, for sure. But I mean, with success comes challenge. I think that this sector, as we've talked about, is legacy and kind of stuck in its ways. So what do you think? What challenges have you seen in kind of that manufacturing marketing?
I think the challenge is misinformation. We're still, as an industry, very much plagued by like buzzwords. There's a lot of buzzwords in the marketing collateral. I mean, I said to someone the other day, has there ever been a support team in our industry that's not dedicated? I feel like every single person has a dedicated support team. What does that even mean? And I was looking on our website and I was like, oh, a dedicated support team. Okay, fine. But there's a lot of like buzzwords that people have just seen throughout their time, and it's just trickled down of, we'll say cutting edge, we'll say dedication, we'll say precision. Yeah, that's another big one. Precision engineered. Well, I don't know what that means. And then people will compare your product, which is a product, to a precision engineered product, not knowing what precision engineered means or how it's precision engineered.
But precision engineers don't know what precision engineer means.
I don't really know what precision engineer is.
Well, we did a talk at a show, and Charlotte gave the talk, and what she did was she looked at 200 websites beforehand, and of those, 88 of them had the word precision engineering in the first paragraph. Yeah. Some of them were sat in the audience, and so she put this slide up and said, what does that mean? Like, are you all the same? Are you is non-precision better? Like, what is precision engineering? I mean, like, exactly
Yeah,
that. I think the problem is that everyone follows and they're scared to be different. And
mm,
actually, what you really need to do, even in a B2B world, is talk human to human, because they're still humans that are buying it. So you just want to like talk to them like you would if we're sat there. And I said, Dom, tell me about Silver Fox and how it can help me. You would just talk and you tell
yeah,
me good things and how it can help me. You just need to translate that and put it on your website.
yeah. I think so often people they pitch it like, I don't know, they're they're trying to seem much more grandiose and oh, it's precision engineered and we've got a support team that does this next day excellent delivery lead times and all this other stuff, which yes, it's important to say, but when you get down to brass tacks of how can I help you, they don't care whether it's engineered or precision engineered, and all this verbosity and long cascading sentences really doesn't get you any closer to the sell. It's more, oh well, because our competitors said precision engineered, we have to say precision
Yeah.
engineered as well. And when our competitors, their support team's dedicated, and we need our support team to be dedicated as well. But as long as the support team answers the phone, they're pretty dedicated,
Yeah.
and
Fundamentally, that's it. You don't ring up and go, oh, are you the dedicated rep today? Dedicated to who? Dedicated to me? You're just sitting there waiting for my call.
Yeah, it's just
You know?
the dedicated person. I mean, they're
Yeah.
all dedicated, but it's just for some. Yeah, I mean, and quite often, yeah, it's just that copycat mentality, and then it just sort of snowballs from there of everyone copying each other, and then you then look like the black sheep for not having those buzzwords on your website
Yeah.
because it looks the same as everyone else's.
Yeah, no, totally agree. Some great chat. But so on that, then, what do you think if you were going to stand here and say to the listeners, okay, what therefore are your top tips for marketers in manufacturing? Like, what would you suggest?
Well, my most important tip would be to there. I mean, there are so many amazing tools out there that we use internally. I'm obsessed with AI and automation. Like any sort of AI, I'm all over it. I'm completely obsessed by it. Any sort of automation where I can have one platform talking to another platform through a Zap or something like that, where they can link up and save me time. I'm there for that as well. So my tip would be to try and be engaged now while these use cases are fairly simple, but at the same time, it's very easy to find a new tool and then decide to build a workflow around that tool as opposed to finding a tool that fits into
Yeah.
your current workflow. It's really easy. I mean, you can literally just search like AI marketing tool into Google, and there'll be 1,000 results that come up, and you go, "Oh, that's interesting. Oh, I'll use that. I'll use that." Before you know, you've got a list this long of tools that you want to use, but none of them actually fit in your current process. So my tip would be to look at your current process and see where you can improve and streamline it, and maybe find a tool based on that one specific use case, and then from there you'll be able to map out how you can link other things to it. But I speak to so many people in sales and marketing who will do it tool first and then go like, how can I use this tool to save me time, as opposed to finding area where they need to save time and then finding the tool after that.
Yeah.
So we have a Trello board, and on there there's a card where it just has tools that we found that we think might be useful in the future, and we just paste the link in, and then we might not use it, but it's just good to have a record of it, so that if we have a challenge in the future, we can go, oh yeah, there was that tool that we found a year ago that would actually be helpful for this particular challenge, as opposed to the reverse of that.
Yeah. No, yeah, makes total sense. Good, great tip. Any others?
Uh, to the marketing, to the manufacturing engineering space, it's please update your LinkedIn's. Uh, it's so many companies that we work with and we support. Like I saw one yesterday, and it was a post on their LinkedIn, and it's clearly dormant. They've not really used it, but the last post they did was a picture saying "We're back. We're happy to be back on LinkedIn," and that was 4 years ago, and they've not posted since.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, you were back for a day, and we thought, nah, forget it. But I feel like as engineering becomes younger, and a lot of the graduates and the entry level positions are being obviously filled, those people are all on LinkedIn and on social media. So to only focus on the people who you've worked with for the last 20, 30 years, who yeah, we don't use social media, it's not for us,
Mm.
you're sort of alienating all of those people who really want to share the tools that they're using
Yeah,
on LinkedIn with their networks. They're proud of it, as opposed to, um, yeah, just not engaging with that entire demographic.
yeah, no, another great tip. Definitely update your LinkedIn, especially if it's 4 years old. Then yeah, seriously, update your
I don't mind it if it's
LinkedIn.
4 years old. If it's 4 years old, I've got no issue with it. It's the fact that they went
Got
huge
excited
in
about
it
them
with like
coming out.
push back,
Yeah.
and then actually, nah, it's not for us. No, no,
No.
no.
And kind of coming towards the end of the show now, and I always like to end on just your top three marketing resources.
Mm. So there's one that I think I recommended to Millie, who works with you. It's called TLDR. It's a
Hmm.
newsletter. They do loads of different newsletters, but it's TLDR.ai, and they have a 5 minute daily roundup of changes in the AI space around the
Nice.
world, and you can select what sort of uh, subsect you are interested in. So you can select the marketing one. It will tell you new tools and developments and GPT prompts that have come up in AI in literally the last 24 hours. It's a nice little 5 minute read in the morning. Another one is quite good. It's less so marketing, but Gary V's Daily V. That's a
Okay.
really, really nice sort of, because he uses every single platform you can imagine. So if you're thinking about getting into Instagram and promoting your company on there, it's likely that he's hacked the algorithm and he knows that actually scrollies aren't in anymore and it's all about stories. You've got to do lots of stories, or actually everything's about reels. So he's very, very good at sharing what the algorithm is like at the moment.
Okay.
And the third one would probably be, I just finished a book called Atomic Habits.
Yeah, it's a good book.
It's a very good book, yeah.
Yeah.
So that sort of changed some mentality up in my mind of some bad habits I've probably got and how I can sort of stack some better habits alongside them. But yeah, those would be my three. The TLDR one being the main one. I mean, that's the first thing I read in the mornings.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks for sharing those. And yeah, finally, just kind of what's next for Silver Fox? What's the rest of the year looking like?
So we just finished an integration with our products with a very large American company called Fluke Networks. So the rest of this year will just be pushing on that, starting to expand more into the US, and work more with our existing US customers, and then obviously trying to develop out there as well. Um, as far as the marketing team goes, they're building our current building a US website, and just trying to understand the nuances, the differences between supporting people in the UK and then supporting people out there.
Yeah, amazing. And if people want to find you, Dom, best place is LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. My LinkedIn is linkedin.com/cable labels because
Okay.
SEO. And then yeah, Silver Fox is on LinkedIn. Our website is silverfox.co.uk. But we try and stay present on all of those platforms
Yeah, presume
for reasons.
your last post wasn't 4 years ago.
No, we're back. Yeah, no, we're back and we're still here. Yeah, no, it
Cool.
wasn't. It was yesterday, I think.
Amazing.
Yeah, no, that we're always available.
Perfect. Dom, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Thanks for sharing all your insights. It's been really,
Thank you,
really
Rob.
enjoyable.
Thank you, Rob. Appreciate it. Cheers.
Thanks again for everyone for listening to another episode of The Engine Room. Check us out for the next upcoming episodes.